Eli Campbell here. One thing that makes Steamboat special is how many awe-inspiring people call our valley home. You could find yourself in line at the coffee shop next to an Olympian, or sitting on the gondola next to the founder of a world-renowned business. Our community produces and attracts the best of the best in their respective fields, but most are so humble about it you would never know. These extraordinary people are the common folk in the boat. Welcome to Common Folk in the Boat. Eli Campbell here with you, as always, alongside David Whitlinger. How are you doing?
Happy to be here.
Did you have a good blues break?
I did. It was pretty mellow.
Yeah?
I mean, you know, we're saving up for spring break. Let's say
For spring break, yeah.
I didn't do a whole lot. Although the weather was so killer, like it made me think, why would I go anywhere right now? It just happened to be one of the most, beautiful sort of midwinter breaks I've seen in a while.
We went up north to the Columbine Cabins. It's our 9th trip up there, annual blues break trip that we always do, and it's just so nice. You get completely disconnected, reconnect to the family. We played board games, read, all the things that you don't do in today's chaotic world.
You put the phones away?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't. There's nothing to do with them, so, yeah. But then you jump right back in, and we're at WinterWonderGrass Week.
I know.
Which is super exciting. We're kind of diving at Steamboat Locals Media all into WinterWonderGrass all this week, releasing Steamboat Soundcheck podcasts with California Honey Drops and Lindsay Liu, Kitchen Dwellers, many, many others. And that's part of what we are doing here for Common Folk in the Boat today.
Yeah,
so
we get to talk with Jeremy.
We get to talk to Jeremy Campbell, who is the lead singer and songwriter for Little Moon Travelers. We're in their little recording rehearsal space.
We should rent this as a permanent studio.
There's a bottle of whiskey.
There's a bottle of whiskey when you walk in. I mean,
I don't think I'm going to leave.
I think we're good.
So, it makes kind of an easy guess. Well, I can probably take one guess at what you're high on this week, but what is Billo high on this week?
Well, you named it. I in addition to the WinterWonderGrass, obviously the music that's coming through town this coming weekend is incredible. We're so fortunate in our tiny little mountain community to be able to have that and have that in our backyard. But I also took the opportunity to start looking ahead, like March. That's when the free concerts at the ski area start up. Yeah. I noticed Schmiggity's, they're doing like regular Monday night DJ nights. I think they just started that, or I just became aware of it. And then you look at what Old Town Pub's doing. They're bringing in world-class acts almost every weekend. And again, I scratch my head thinking we're in this tiny little community and we've got access to some of the greatest new music and not so much new, but like great music. Boy, how special is that? I'm pretty high on that.
Yeah, and you didn't even mention Strings, who has some just amazing musicians coming in March. People that have been at the top of the Billboard charts. And, speaking of WinterWonderGrass, Big Richard, who played WinterWonderGrass last year, is going to be at Strings. Clay Street Unit, who played WinterWonderGrass last year, is going to be playing at the base of the resort. So you've got this kind of symbiotic relationship between all the venues and all the music and everything that comes this time of year. So we're really excited to kind of bring Common Folk in the Boat to the WinterWonderGrass Week with our guest today, Jeremy Campbell. We're going to learn a little bit about his history and, of course, what is going on with the Little Moon Travelers right after this. Welcome back to Common Folk in the Boat. We are now joined by Jeremy Campbell, lead singer-songwriter for Little Moon Travelers. This is WinterWonderGrass Week, and one of the reasons that you're here. How are you doing?
I'm good. A little ragged, but that's what it's all about. If you were in perfect shape, you'd probably weren't doing it right, maybe.
Yeah, it's a big week for you guys. And you guys, this is your second time at WinterWonderGrass. Last year was kind of a real quick impromptu thing. And I want to get to that, but more than anything, I want to start by just learning more about you. I've known you as the lead singer and songwriter of Little Moon Travelers, but I'd like to know your story of how you even came to be to Steamboat in the first place.
Sure. We've been in, my wife and I moved to Steamboat about 8 years ago. We were on the Front Range, always wanted to be here. And I think we're about, 2 years away from being locals. And
I don't know, how many knee surgeries do you have?
Yeah.
What's your DUI status?
I snowboard and
Another factor.
had enough run-ins when I was earlier. No comment. No, I will say in the subject of being a local, I might have said this last year on the thing, but during COVID, I took my entire family to the Meadows lot or something just to get out of the house and go have the kiddos run around. And the cops showed up, kicked us out. And long story short, my entire family made the blotter. So I'm not sure if that qualifies as us as locals, but collectively, while it was a low moment at the time, it was a proud moment to have your entire family make the blotter.
I mean, I've been in there once or twice. Dave, you? No comment?
Not that I know. No comment.
No, we got up. My wife works at the hospital, and so that's what got us up here. And working there has been fantastic. And so we're super grateful to have gotten up here, particularly when we did. Got a tiny house with a great view, and we're content. And right now, talking to some friends of ours who've been here forever, and we are fortunate to get to live the Steamboat dream right now, raising some kiddos in Trail Busters, cross country, Winter Sports Club, all that, and then to get to play music at WonderGrass. My cup couldn't be more full, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys, as far as the music side, you've been really making a local name for yourself over just about the past year or so. You came together kind of during that COVID time. What was for you the kind of just the sense of community that music was bringing you during the time that we really needed to find community the most?
No, absolutely. One thing, so Vaughn Wilson, who many people know in this town, who's definitely as OG Steamboat as it gets, and I were playing a lot of music together, and we, during COVID, it was a lot of playing around the bonfire, right? We were all just getting outside, just trying to get together in the ways that we could during that time. And we've been playing together before that, but we're just bluegrass, old time folk music geeks. I mean, at the end of the day. And, that intimate setting that COVID created around the campfire is something that for us was very special. And so as we sort of brought on Aaron Van Wyck, the mandolin player, it started as just that trio, we really, the first thing that we did to actually sort of put our name out and really bring this music into the community was to put together a show at Perry Mansfield in a very sit-down environment, but try to bring community together, because we have, I think there's something that since COVID, I think there's been a move towards a lot of people really craving that intimate, small environment. The thing, like we were all sitting, watching the living room concerts right on our computer, for better, for worse, but just bringing that, the chaos of the world, trying to bring it back down to community, because that's what buoyed us all right through COVID. And as the band, formed, and we created that, that concert, and we just promoted the heck out of it, and we just said, what a fun deal. And for no other end other than let's just play some music, for our community. And that's been, really the driver for all of this is just the joy of doing it and bringing friends together. And it's not like we've got, we're trying to go, whatever, be famous musicians. We're just doing this because we love it. And oddly enough, because through that sort of avenue of just doing it for its own sake, it's been a bit of an interesting thing to watch, that folks are enjoying it and being drawn to it, because it's not like we're out trying to be rock stars doing it. And then, again, this community has just been insanely supportive. And biggest obviously mention would be Scotty and the entire bonfire crew, giving us that opportunity as this thing evolved and turned into a 5-piece band with Kay and Eric Baker. And then we just got on a flyer. A band dropped out last year, and we were given the opportunity, kind of in the right place at the right time, to play WinterWonderGrass, and that's sort of what really lit a fire under us to kind of keep rocking with it. So there's the long answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of great songwriting as well, and obviously
Appreciate
a lot of that is locally inspired. Your song
Absolutely.
Sanctuary is obviously about the sanctuary. But I'm curious, before we even got into Steamboat and Little Moon Travelers, what is your history of music?
Sure.
We're here in your practice space. I don't think that you just picked up a guitar a year ago and said, I want to start a band. So what got you to this place?
No, sure. I grew up playing piano, much like I'm trying to, we're trying to do with our kiddos now, introduce them to music early. And then, played guitar, saxophone, all that through high school. But then in college is when I, had my first sort of jam band and started experiencing the fun of and headache of putting a band together and gigging. And, it was a really small little entrepreneurial endeavor, which is sort of the life that I've led so far on this earth. And, just sort of been drawn by the fruits of your own labor, not waiting around on anyone else. And I had a sort of a jam band, and we had fun. We did a little tour right after college and spent some time on the road, had fun, but then moved down to Denver and actually had a 10-piece funk band for a while. Damn. And had a full
a lot of mouths to feed,
full horn section. We didn't make much, if any, money, but a 10-piece or like a 3-piece horn section from like DU graduate students, a female singer. It was so fun, so much work. And God bless, it was amazing. And right around the time when I met my wife, actually at the Telluride Bluegrass Festival, just serendipitously, I was becoming very burnt out on, gigging, making no money, just grinding, no kids yet, so it was all good. But I just got burnt out, and quite frankly, swore off the idea of having a band and trying to gig and do that, because it is just such a grind. And and then that kind of, but I never stopped playing music, but it was just like, all right, I'm going to do it for its own sake. I'm going to play. And I've always kind of had this bluegrass, rootsy, country kind of, interest and enjoyment that, later on, fast forward to, we moved to Steamboat to meet Vaughn and, of course, some other cats like John Yugi, Ryan Cox, all sorts of other, Steamboat musicians. And we're just playing. We would just get together in, someone's living room, pop a beer and a bottle of whiskey and play till, the wee hours of the night. And that, again, to me, it's about, what's filling the cup for you, because so much of life is just such a hustle and a grind. And, you gotta have that outlet, and that's been my outlet. And so to sort of then catch up, that was sort of the prequel to where, then Vaughn and I were playing more, a little bit more, and then COVID happened, and there was this break, right, where all of a sudden no one saw each other, and then that created this hunger once we were able to get back together and play music again and around the campfire. It's sort of, that pause and that mindfulness of this could not be it's not always there. It's not taken, you take things for granted. It creates that hunger to really keep going, much like when I went through my long COVID stuff and also had to take a break, from the band, or that was actually pre-band, but had to take a break from playing music, had to take a break from life. I didn't do anything for about 6 months. I wasn't exercising for a solid year, and I
could tell when I saw you on the ice that day.
Yeah, that's right. I played some hockey. No, it took me a minute to get back, but it's that break that gives you the, again, just the reminder that this is short. This life we live is short, and our bodies are only gonna be doing what we tell it to for so long. So fast forward to right now, and holy crap, I'm 39 and started a band again. I would never in a million years thought I'd do that, but it's fully so much thanks to my incredible bandmates who are just show up and do their homework and practice and contribute in big ways, and then the community and Scotty and everyone. So yeah.
Well,
Again, another long answer.
Yeah, no, the long answers are the best answers. You're telling us everything that we need to know.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think what's interesting to me is you keep talking about community and how this community has propelled you, whether it's through the music or just friendships. But I know, too, you work remotely for a company out of San Diego,
That's
I believe.
right, yeah.
And so I'm just kind of curious how you balance what this mountain lifestyle and the music and everything to what is probably a fast-paced company in Southern California.
That's right. It's amazing that you think somehow I have balance, but I appreciate it.
Well, I want our listeners.
No, I've got my brother lives out in San Diego, Austin. We have a franchise called Solace Studios, and we've got an incredible team that we've built out there that just helps all of us. You know, I've got a business coach. We work very hard to create sustainable existence, and it's some days I feel like I'm getting closer to that, and then I bite off some other project as represented by some little woodworking project I did for Billo not too long ago. I don't know how to say no to much, but I don't know. I've always been very fascinated on how things work, how to create, just a creator mentality. And when you get an idea in your head on, something you want to do, it just keeps me up at night until I figure out how to do it. And so, like I said, I'm very fortunate that what I do, a lot of which looks like commercial property management, I can do remotely from this office that I have turned into my, band practice space or a little man cave here. Again, I just, all of these opportunities have been very fortunate. I'm just, again, I'm very grateful for all of this, and just trying to juggle it all and show up to be a dad as much as I possibly can too, because that's the number one thing. But yeah.
So I'm curious to know, because going back to what you said about how you didn't think you'd start another band, and here you are, and then you mentioned your bandmates. I mean, Eric Baker, we've had on the show.
Yeah.
His business is doing well. I don't know much about Vaughn, but he's a chiropractor in town, right? So here's where I'm going with this. You guys are on a uptick right now. I mean, your music's getting out there.
Yeah.
People are finding you. You're getting all these great opportunities through Bonfire and WinterWonderGrass and that whole production.
Sure.
What's going to happen 6 months, a year from now, when you start to get asked to play more and more gigs? Have you talked that far in advance? Are you gonna cap what you're doing just to kind of keep it manageable?
Yeah,
are you looking to potentially go the opposite route?
No, well, I mean, that's a bit of the golden question right now. What I would say is going back to the start, right, is we had back when I had the 10-piece funk band, we said yes to everything, everything. And man, it was so, it was just such a grind, and you'd be playing some little dirty bar in wherever, middle of nowhere, Colorado, and you're like, what are we doing here? Taking home probably negative $20 each
after the bar
tab was settled. But for us, this has been, a big study in, just like, to me, it's all centered around the music writing and creating music that inspires us. And where exactly that is will head, I'm not exactly sure. Like right now, it's not like, we all have families. It's not like we're gunning to go spend 6 months on the road. I can tell you that isn't it. But are we gunning for bigger and more? Like, it certainly, like right now, I mean, and part of this is like where we were before and where we are in such a short amount of time has been wild. I mean, to get to play these festivals, we're going down to Baja, with the family for Baja WonderGrass, and my, half my extended family's coming down. Nice. And, just to get, like, to me, like that, again, going back to what do you consider successful, and what, because so many people are like, I'm not successful till this or that. And right now, as far as I'm concerned, we're successful in terms of what we want to be doing with this. Would I love to play Telluride Bluegrass Festival where met my wife one day? Absolutely. And we're going to keep gunning for that. But I think, what we talked with like Eric Baker a lot about is there's so many phenomenal opportunities sort of in our region to go really like try to gun for, without having to go just set aside everything, and it is a commitment. And even what we're doing right now, on Saturday night, we're in here practicing and just working hard, and it's a commitment, and we have very graceful spouses that are all about helping us do this, but continue to find that balance. But to wrap this up, what I found is that when you sort of pause and say, really be a little more selective and really have the focus be the music, it's kind of amazing what the universe sort of transpires.
Well, and you kind of mentioned it with talking about Eric and his experience. Eric and Vaughn have both been in bands before.
Totally.
With
Everyone
Old Town
has.
Pickers, K's and Deer Creek Sharpshooters. Eric was in Buffalo Commons, which, up until recently was probably one of the more well-known Steamboat local bands.
Yeah.
Ryan Cox is
Great
someone you
band.
mentioned. Miss the Boat
Love
was
Miss the Boat. Oh, yeah.
a band that had to kind of figure out that balance of family life and work life.
Right.
And it's very difficult, but how are you able to rely and lean on the advice of those people as you are looking towards the future?
I mean, for us, it's tough, but like you really have to continue the conversation because, the old joke, it's like having, like it was 5-piece band. It's like having four partners, four significant others. But just like your relationship at home, it's easy to get lazy and just, keep on the same trajectory and algorithms you're running with. But sometimes you got to stop and say, all right, what do we want to do? Like we just got approached by an outfit down in southern Utah that wants a performing arts center, wants to bring us down there. And, it's a ways out and it's something we'd love to do, but, it just takes everyone sitting down and like, do we want to commit to this? Do we want to put together a little tour? Do we want to do this? And I will say we don't have anything grand figured out, but we're just doing our best to continually, come together and have conversations about, what is it we want to do? With, me and Aaron having young kiddos, we're a little more tied down than, sort of the other three. But again, I think everyone too has had those bands before where they've just been grinding and are enjoying sort of the cadence that we found here, which is, being more selective and then getting to play just really dream gigs, dream festivals and things like that.
Yeah, and we talk about just kind of the local community and the influence that it has on you guys and trying to kind of mesh it all together. One big piece of that, obviously, is WinterWonderGrass.
Absolutely.
And the family mentality of that festival. You have already talked about you're going to Baja, you're doing the River Wondergrass. Once you're part of that family, it is like a real true family and supportive. And I've felt it myself from Scotty and the crew helping with what we're doing and bringing us along as part of Steamboat Locals Media. And so I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about from last year, kind of getting that like last minute spot into now what being part of that family has meant to you. Yeah,
well, I think like any family, you can... let's put it this way, the functional families, everyone brings something to the table, right? And offers and doesn't just say what, like perfect example, you are part of that family, but you wake up and say, what can I do for this thing? And that, comes down to community too, right? If you just show up and just enjoy the fruits of the community, but don't really add back to it, you're not getting the depth of the three dimensions of the community that you could. And, one thing, Scotty giving us that opportunity last year, and then, we put together, then to me it's like, what can I do to help, what can I offer what value can we as a band offer Scotty, offer Bonfire, offer this community to help, keep this thing going? Because I know, for a fact that an insanely large amount of these small festivals recently, not Scotty's, but like, independents throughout the country have closed their doors recently, have just said this doesn't make sense financially, whatever. So what we have here is not, we can't take it for granted, right? Like that's why it's so important to show up. This isn't this isn't just, some like, automatic thing. And so as just an example of that is, at some point, anyway, I was having a conversation with Scotty and my wife, Margot, and I, and, with Carly, who's, part of the Bonfire group, but we helped put together this sort of local WonderGrass little campaign where we're like, how can we get businesses involved and how can we help to promote local businesses during the festival, right? Because not to mention any particular festival that exists around the beginning of the year in this town, but they don't include the community at all. It's like you wouldn't even know they exist. And what I love about WinterWonderGrass is that it is the absolute opposite. It is like, how can we involve the community as much as possible? And so again, going back to offer, what can we offer the community? What can we offer to Scotty, who's been so awesome bringing us in? We were pounding the pavement, knocking on doors of businesses saying, do you guys want to offer a little deal? Kind of a mini sailor's card for the weekend of WonderGrass, so that if you have your wristband, and head downtown, you're going to get deals. And on their website, they've got that. I got to throw one shout out to Nick Corelli over at the ice rink this Saturday at WonderGrass. They're having an open skate that they just did for the WonderGrass community, which is super fun. So if you're in town and you want to go over for $5, it includes your skate rental and 2 hours of just skating, just something fun. I mean, this town is amazing and it has so many fun things to do beyond just the ski hill. Obviously, we love our ski hill, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think, Scotty and that whole crew has done an incredible job, like you said, including everybody and making it feel like a real town type of event.
Absolutely.
And I think you had an interesting perspective because before you were a musician at the event, you were a fan.
Absolutely.
You were an attendee.
We've been to
a
bunch of these.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious from both sides of it. You've seen how the audience is treated and how the bands are treated. What can you say? Just like, and you've played other events and other festivals. What can you say about
Nothing's as well organized as this. It's so well dialed. But I mean, a perfect example, it's just the epitome of it is the raised stage right to the right of the sound booth that's for accessible viewing. I mean, there's not a lot of festivals that have that. And, they even sent out an email recently saying, hey, if you have, or I forgot what it was, but some communications, hey, if you have some accessibility, special need for the festival, hit us up. We'll take care of you. I mean, like, what festival does that? And so just it's just so well run. I don't know. I think I said this last year, but this is my favorite weekend of the year. It's so fun.
Yeah. I'm curious, going back a little bit. I mean, obviously, you've got your mic stand covered here that you've done. I know you've done some. I think you did one for Billy Failing, maybe?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What's the woodworking piece that you hit him up to get done?
Oh, well, on a side note, we got Jeremy working in his wood shop. He's done all of our Billo retail displays. So he's an incredible woodsmith. He's got an etching machine as well, so it's a burned-in logo on balsa wood or some sort of lighter wood, and so much to the point where we now need 100 more. And he's like, dude, I got a couple festivals, So it's
fun.
It's a victim of our own success. I'm like, hey, can you crank these out?
No, it's fun, but it's just such a small community here, right? And that's what we were sitting in the hockey locker room one night, and I was chirping about my new laser engraver, and he's like, "I got a project for you." I was like, "Crap."
Yeah.
I love it.
In mouth, right?
I love it.
I mean, you guys seem like two peas in a pod. I know Dave has been that exact same type of like, I'll figure out a way to get it done. Like,
Totally.
just throw a project at me, whether it's creating ski lift chair swings or whatever. Like,
But that's the nectar, right? Just making something.
Yeah.
like everyone in our band, I mean, Kay, you know, the hats, Vaughn, I mean, that guy got a mid-90s Ford ambulance and converted it to not only a camper, but then converted it to four-wheel drive. It just popped the transmission out. How do you learn how to do that, Vaughn? YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was converted to veggie. Anyway, and then you know Baker, you know, with the skis, he's making skis. Aaron made his own mandolin. You know, when you're around people that are creators, and it doesn't have to be physical, but just you know whatever, it's inspiring and it keeps the fun going. Again, that's the nectar of it. Yeah.
Yeah. When you are, you know, obviously a creative mind, when you're working on a piece of wood or working on a song. What is that feeling during the creative process and when you get the finished product? Whether, I mean, again, physical or a song, like what brings the most joy to you? Is it the creation of it or the finished product?
I think it's mostly the fact that the other voices in my head just shut up. I mean, that's it. It's like I've such a monkey brain, and when you're, you know, and life and ADD and all this stuff, that when you're in the shop and where you're doing your thing or writing or playing music, whatever it is, everything else is just quiet. And that to me, in a world full of noise, is everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
finally, a short answer.
Yeah, one short answer. You could have probably gone on for days.
We'll grab a beer another time. I can talk all day.
Well, you guys are playing WinterWonderGrass this weekend. You were talking to us a little bit before the recording about the schedule, but can you let everybody know when they can catch you?
Yeah. So we got a super fun little additional set that Sky threw us. Saturday. We're playing the two VIP tent sets. So if you've got VIP, come on in around dinner time. We'll be playing some, when the side stage sets are going on, we'll be playing in there. But the one that we're really, excited about and just have dialed are two soapbox sets Sunday. Pixie and the Partygrass Boys are playing the very first set on the main stage when everyone comes in on Sunday. And we'll kick things off with the solid energy that they provide, and then we're going to play, the first side stage set at the soapbox, and so leave a little gas in the tank for Sunday, and it's going to be fun. And then having the California Honey Drops playing that night, one of my favorites. So it's going to be fun all weekend.
Yeah, you'll be able to relax at that point. I would hope.
Something.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday's going to be a great day. Honey Drops, Trampled by Turtles. Yeah, but the whole festival is going to be insane. Amazing. Is there anyone? I mean, we already kind of talked. Honey Drops, Trampled, those.
Yeah.
But is there maybe a name of a band out there that you're looking forward to that some people aren't so aware of?
I mean, to be honest, what I right now, like there's a decent chunk of that list of the side stage bands that I haven't heard of, and I can say that I'm safely say that I'm most excited to see them, because everyone that Scotty brings in, there's a group from Brooklyn, from New York that are coming. There was a Damtel Buildings that are, you look into them, you're like, yep, another phenomenal band. Yep, a band from Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're like, that's some of my favorite bands you see. Of course, once upon a time, right, we all saw Billy play on the side. Billy Strings play on the side tent. So it's just fun to learn new bands. Quite frankly, I've been going so fast. I'm not super familiar. We're just trying to. Anyway, we're excited to show up and be surprised. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, Jeremy Campbell, lead singer, songwriter for Little Moon Travelers. Appreciate your time. Wish you the best this weekend.
Thanks.
It's exciting to see just another common folk in the boat on stage at our local WinterWonderGrass Festival.
Thanks for taking the time.